Hello everyone, welcome in today. We're going to finish off the Dynasty deep dive here. And if you're new to my channel, we're going to have a ton of college football content coming out. I can't wait for this game. And we are going to have a team builder team. And I'm planning on doing some rebuilds. And I'm going to take suggestions for the rebuilds. So if you guys already have some suggestions, drop them below. I want to be able to get them going. I think a lot of people are going to do them. But I'm going to try to do like a 10-year unique rebuild with a couple different teams. It could take a week or two before I get it out because I'm going to be doing regularly, scheduled Dynasty content for my team builder team. The Indian River Bull Sharks, if you're wondering, they're based along the east coast of Florida in the Indian River Lagoon. That's going to be pretty cool. And I'm not sure if I'm going to keep the Bull Sharks. It might end up just being the Sharks. I think that might be a little bit cleaner and sound better, but the idea was the Bull Sharks because you'll find Bull Sharks in that area and people don't expect it. But either way, let's get into finishing off this Dynasty deep dive. The position changes are the next stage, and like always, you'll be able to change the position of players. And nothing really crazy there, in my opinion. Player progression, this I don't think they gave you enough information on. I really need to know how they progress the player, whether a player can go up and down, or do players always linear get better in a line? Like, do they always just go up? Or is that graph going to be up and down? Now, I know like a normal dev guy, okay, maybe he only goes up by 1 or 2, which is really cool because they talk about that in here as well. And they also talk about how a rising sophomore is going to jump higher than a rising senior because they're already a senior in the development trait. So that makes sense, and it's pretty cool. I want to see how it plays out. This is where I'm most skeptical, if I'm being honest with you. But the normal dev, impact, star, and elite. Basically what you'd expect is impact. Normal is normal players. This is what you'd expect from a guy that's probably not pro potential. Impact, the type of player who can change a team. They'll progress faster than normal with higher upside. Star has a potential Sunday player, so they don't even think impact's a Sunday player. That's probably like an undrafted type guy. I'm really curious how many of each dev they give out. Whether devs can go up or down, I'm curious about that. And then elite is the best of the best. So those are your guys who can get to a 99 overall. You can't see it until he's on your roster, which makes a ton of sense, unless you have the mind reader ability, which we talked about a little bit. Like, there's a chance, but that's highly unlikely that you're going to have that and get the information every time. Skill groups, and I like this. Basically, they talk about in their progression, how it's no longer just like your toughness goes up by 5. If you're a running back, your break tackle goes up by 7. It's a group of skills that improve. So that's a pretty cool thing, but I'm a little skeptical as well. I got to be honest with you when it comes to that. Because will that mean a guy who's a power back only develops as a power back, or is there a way to develop him otherwise? Will that impact his potential as far as like getting to the NFL and being drafted? I don't know. This is probably one of the first things besides the portal that I absolutely need to test. Because I'm a little bit skeptical, and I have to be honest with you on that. Just, like I said, it's just so much is unknown about it. So we need to really test that, and that's something I will probably do. My plan is, I can't really stream right now because I don't quite have the internet speed. I kind of live out away from the city a little bit, and we don't have high-speed internet out here. So I might stream, and sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't. So more likely what I'll do is I'll just record a video when I go into the game, and you're going to see my raw initial thoughts as we load in. We sim a Dynasty, and my plan is start that at midnight, finish it, not even edit it. I don't want to edit the video. I want to just send it out as it is, and then basically upload it immediately so that way you guys can see my initial quick thoughts as we do some test run-throughs. I wanted to do a stream, but the problem is, like I said, I just don't think I have the internet speed for it. Either way, that's one of the things that absolutely needs testing, and we need to see how that works. Mental and physical abilities. Here, you'll find out that certain things like mental abilities do not change. That makes sense, actually. A guy is who he is, and they have bronze, silver, all that. Players will look to upgrade their physical abilities if they meet the requirement by, if you need 95 juking to become something shifty, then once you get 95, you'll be up to gold level. But their mental abilities are what they are because that's who they are as a person. And that makes a lot of sense as we're looking at Quinshawn Judkins here, who I'm really disappointed left Ole Miss. Kidding. I'm a Florida Gators fan. I'm glad he left Ole Miss. And with Princely Umamielen talking a lot of smack, I'm kind of rooting against Ole Miss this year. Normally, I'd pull for them. Next up, we're going to look at some of the impact players. And I like here all exactly what you'd expect. I'm just going to be honest with you. Except for now, you're not limited. If you're a star impact player, you're a star impact player. You can have as many as your team desires. And as good as they are, So you can see here, Alabama has what, 2 on defense? Georgia, meanwhile, has 7 on offense. That's incredible. I love that you can do that, and we need to see how it works, of course, like everything. And then they talk about wear and tear. Now, they've already done a lot of talk about wear and tear, so I don't really feel like this section requires a ton of talking about. But this is where you have to manage a player, and you look at, for example, at Donovan Edwards here. He has so many different injuries. You can see break tackles down 7 here, and speed's down 6 because of his injuries to his shoulder, leg, and ankle. In this situation, I feel like you almost have to sit him. And I'm excited to have to manage wear and tear. They've talked about it, though, so I feel like people already know about it. I just hope it's done right because I want to use it. And I'm going to use it to start out, but I need this to be done right because this is something I've been looking for in a football game for a long time. When I look at NBA 2K, and they've had this for years, I could not figure out why the Madden team did not steal that and implement it. So here they talk about basically delivering the world of college football, so on and so forth. And I feel like, based on what they've said, they've done a fantastic job of that. And I have never been more excited for a game in my life, I don't think. I always loved college football back in the day, and I've played it my whole life. I can't wait to get this game out and really play it and see what it's all about. And just get back into that world of modern college football and having the real players and not have to wait for somebody to upload a roster file or change all the names yourself, man. That used to be a pain in the butt. I'm happy about it, and I'm super thankful that we are able to have this. So now they're going to talk about the college football playoff and how that works. And the fact is, we haven't seen this in real life, so I'm excited to see it in the game and test it out and really get the feel for how it's going to end up working because we just don't know. Having the home games in the first round is going to be nice, so the higher seeded teams like Georgia would be at home against Miami. You're going to have the home field advantage, which is incredible and should have a great impact in helping you move on to the next round. And then after that, it's neutral sites, so you probably won't have any home field advantages at all. So I'm definitely curious to see how that works and just to see how it plays out because we all have a feeling, but to see it in game and then to see it in real life and just see, how accurate they get it because they're kind of taking an educated guess here and they talk about that. And I think they did a really good job and they talk about how, like, you can't see your CFP rankings until November, like real life. That all makes sense. Nothing you should have expected any different there. Now they created logic for it. And like I said, this is where they're going based on research and past history, and I'm just excited, man. I can't wait to see how it works. And I know they did the best they can here. And at the end of the day, I have a bad feeling Ohio State, Texas, Alabama, Georgia, all these top schools are always going to be your national champion. But I'm excited to see, like, who can sneak in and maybe can a team build with the transfer portal? Like, if it's done as good as we think it can be done, can you build quick enough through the transfer portal to be able to get your team to the playoff? That's a question I have. Can you do that in one offseason in this game? Because in real life, you really almost can, with a 12-team playoff, I think, do that. And Ole Miss is going to be a good test study for that this year, so we'll have to see. They utilize the 5+7 model, which is what it currently is anyway, which means the Big 10, SEC, Big 12, ACC will all get automatic bids, and then one of your group of 5. And if you're Notre Dame, if you're in the Pac-12 like Oregon State and Washington State still are, you can't get a first-round bye because you're not considered a conference champion. So you're always going to have to play. But you can have that home field advantage, which would be nice. So here they just show off what the polls are going to look like, which is basically what you'd expect. And then this is basically the playoff bracket. So I wonder if they sim the season to get this. To see Boston College in the 2024 playoff as the 4th seed is wild, dude. That's insane. Liberty in as the group of 5 guy. That's pretty cool. And they'll be the 12th seed almost every time. I can pretty much guarantee that. So they talk about the format and all that, which makes sense. They're also going to feature 34 bowl games, and they're going to keep the tie-ins, and you'll be able to check them at the same time as the college football bowl. So if you're not going to make it to the playoff, you'll be able to look and see, like, okay, this is the bowl game I'm going to get to. That's where they talk about how it's like real life. And then this is relocation, basically to me, like Dynasty, not relocation, conference realignment. And it just tells you how you can do that, which basically that's what you'd expect. They're going to have all the current conference alignment, which also makes sense as they should. You can be your own conference commissioner. You can move teams around as you wish, put them where you want them. But the main takeaway from this is they give you some flexibility here by allowing you to turn divisions on or off, name the divisions. the number of conference games, which is awesome, conference championship game on or off, location of the conference championship game, and how they select a conference champion. That's going to be pretty cool to be able to manage that. Like, I personally think the SEC should be playing a 9-game conference schedule. So I don't understand why they don't. In the future, I'll probably do that to them. And then here you can see this is a big update that I'm so excited about, and it's one of my questions about Team Builder that hasn't been answered yet. Will your Team Builder team also have the conference logo change on their jersey and on the field, or no? Because they can do it with the real life teams, and that's kind of a deal breaker to me, if I'm being honest with you. If I can't do that with my Team Builder team, I'm going to be pretty disappointed, and I don't know if I want to do that as much, because it just cuts the immersion when you move a team from the ACC to the SEC and it still says ACC on their field and on their jersey. Now, in the game, at least for the teams that are preset in the game, we know for sure that that is going to change with the team when they change conferences. So you can see JMU's normally Sunbelt. They're in the ACC. They have ACC here on the field and ACC here on their uniforms, which is incredible. So scheduling wise, they talk about how they did their best basically to line up the schedules with what they are in real life. So, you know, the third Saturday in October is Tennessee, Alabama. You know, Florida, Georgia always play basically the first weekend of November. They made sure that that's in the game. They also talk about how they scheduled out future opponents that were already announced. So, like, they talk about how you have a home and home with Notre Dame and Alabama. You have a home and home with Florida State, Georgia here. That's also going to be in the game, and they did that with every team, and they made sure that every school has 12 games for all 30 years of Dynasty, which is incredible, but it makes me wonder in the future of Dynasty, like, unless I change the schedule, will I already know who teams are going to play? That's a question I have. They also added Week 0. I don't think that's really, like, it's good for immersion and good for realism, but at the end of the day, I don't think that really matters. At least not to me, anyway. I like that you can't change big matchups, so, like, you can't make yourself be the kickoff games. I forget what the names are, like Duke's Mayo kickoff and stuff like that. And also how they have different teams calling the games. We've already known that a little bit. If you're a national broadcast game, you're going to get Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit if you're the game of the week. And if you're broadcast, it's Reese Davis, Jesse Palmer, David Pollock. I love the teams. We're not going to use them in a lot of our content, but when I'm playing my Dynasty that's not content related, you can bet we're going to be using the commentary because I'm excited for it. And I know the guys put in a ton of work to get that out. They also talk about crowd themes, how they're in the game. You can set your schedule like always, except for your conference opponents. And this is just showing off, like, okay, here's who's available to play. And then here they are. You made Oklahoma State, Oklahoma play again. And you could change the home and away. That's cool. That's all we've expected. It's just done a little bit nicer now. Team Builder, they talk about, Team Builder's back. You can import up to 16 Team Builder teams in a private online Dynasty, which makes me wonder, though, can you only do Team Builder online? Because I do a lot of offline because you never know how the servers are going to be. And once again, that's something that would be good to know before I go all in on a Team Builder team. I want to do that, but I have questions. Either way, the commissioner will need to replace the teams. You can only do it at the beginning of the league. You can't add them in later, so I'm curious how that's going to work. They didn't give us a ton of information here. I'm hoping we get a Team Builder deep dive and maybe the website reveal soon. I'm just not confident we're going to because they threw it in here and they mentioned it. It's just, and they only mention it in Online Dynasty, so that's why I'm like, that's my question. We'll see on that one. This talks about new redshirt rule and how they made that proper. If a guy plays in 4 games, he can still be redshirted, 4 or less. If he plays more than 4, he can no longer be redshirted. And they talk about how you can manage it yourself or you can just let the computer do it. That's good for the casuals. For me, I'm going to manage it myself. Here they talk about the awards, the Heisman Trophy, and like all the different, like the acts you can see. And I forget what game that is. Paul Bunyan's acts. I think it's Minnesota and Wisconsin when they play. And you can see they have all of them in the games, which is cool. They don't have all the awards, which sucks. So I'm curious, like they don't have the Blitnikoff. So are they going to have best receiver or something in there? I'm just curious about that. Heisman Trophy works how it's always worked. You got 5 guys on the list, and you can see whether they're going up or down. And then this is a pretty cool graphic, and I hope that's in the game for your Heisman winner, because that's sweet, and I will definitely use that if that's in the game for thumbnails and stuff. So here they talk about, Lou Groza is in there, Lombardi, the Unitas Golden Arm Award, among others, and the Broyles Award for Best Coordinator, which is cool because that will be nice if you're a coach to be able to claim that you did that if you start out as an OC. They have All-Americans in the game. I like that they do first, second, and freshman. And it's not just the national level like it used to be. You also get all freshman conference as well, which is really cool. It has all the records. You should expect the records being in the game at this point. If you don't, I think that would have been a big miss on theirs. Now, the nice thing is the record book covers players' records for career, season, and on the game level. So that's pretty cool as well. And it's tracked by national, conference, and team. So that's pretty cool as well. You can break conference records. So I'm excited to try that out and see if I can do that. And then here they talk about pride stickers to finish off the article. And basically, they fill up as the season goes along, as you'd expect. And they talked with the teams that do them to make sure they're authentic, which makes sense. Once again, that would have been a big miss if they didn't do that. Here's where they talk about a little bit more about the Dynasty stuff and how you can have 32 members compete in an online Dynasty and all that, which is stuff we expect. So, guys, this is the end of the Dynasty Deep Dive. Let me know if you guys are as excited down below as I am, because I am pumped for this. And let me know if you guys have any complaints as we finished off doing this Dynasty Deep Dive. What do you think they could have done better? What are you excited to test out? Like, what do you guys want to know about this? Like, what's the first thing you want to test? I want to hear. I'm here to hear about it, and I want to do and maybe run that test for you. I'm LDJ11. I want to thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Have a great day, and I'm out.